stand and start our meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to do a short little prayer. You can join in or not. Since we've had all these safety issues with our schools, I think it'd be a good idea to ask for some guidance. So, Father, we thank you tonight for bringing us to this meeting, and we ask, Lord, that you help us to make the best decisions for our students, staff, community. We ask, Lord, that in all this tumult that's going on, that you would help our students to be safe, to understand how to be safe, and to help us have a safe environment for them. And we ask this in Christ's name. Amen. All right. You want to do the roll call, Kim?
Clifford Adams.
Here.
Patty Anderson. Here. Terry Armagos.
Here.
John Burke.
Here.
Brady Fife.
Here.
Diane Page. Here. Jeff Powell.
Here.
Eric Sunling.
Here.
Kelly Trevoli.
Here. Okay, would someone like to make a motion to read and or just approve the official minutes from the July 24th voting meeting and the August 12th workshop meeting and the August 19th voting meeting that were attached?
So moved. Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Do we have any public participation this evening?
I would like to address the board.
Okay, would you state your name and what you're here for this evening?
My name is Mike Flipples. I believe we're going in at this point.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just a reminder, there is a 5-minute time limit.
I'm aware. It's one of the things I would like to address this evening. So with the time frame, I'm going to get started. First of all, thank you for letting me address the board tonight. I want to apologize for my conduct at the last meeting. However, I do feel it is important that as a board and administration, you know a couple things about me. I am a combat veteran with 2 tours overseas. Unfortunately, that has left me with PTSD. It is not an excuse for my actions or my conduct or behavior. However, it is something that I have to deal with. It can be very difficult for me to regulate myself, especially with verbal communication. It was very disrespectful to all outside participants to have an executive meeting at the beginning of the public meeting. As board members and administrators, you are required to be here. Everyone else is not. You could easily schedule that time before or after the meeting. I was limited to 5 minutes. It is very difficult to go into detail with an issue or multiple issues in a matter of 5 minutes. Last month, the people that got the raises came up and explained how their job had changed. It took 3.5 to 5 minutes for each of them to describe how their job description and responsibilities had changed. 2 meetings ago, Cliff said that he wished that more parents would come to meetings. In the 2 that I have been here, very little turns of items have been addressed. When the football team came, there was a vote to save face, but nothing else. Last month, it was the same with cross country. The vote to end it was here, but there was no support from the board. At times, there have been dissent from the board, there has been discussion, it is often talked over and shut down, and items are quickly brushed away. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for your service to our country. Appreciate that. Just a couple of clarifications. Executive sessions by PA law are allowed at any time during a meeting. We do hold them at other times as possible, but this had to be held in order to progress with the meeting. And secondly, the board policy, which is based on the Pennsylvania School Board Association policy, indicates 5 minutes. I looked the other day, and a lot of schools are 3 minutes, so that's where that comes from. Okay, any other public participation? Okay, not seeing any, we have some presentations this evening. Justine and Jen has a video.
Jen has a video.
So we're gonna do Jen's first.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna move.
Hi, this is Jennifer Stover. Thank you to the board and administration for the invitation to speak this evening about some of the successes Justine White and I have had over these past 3 years of co-teaching together. Sorry I'm not attending in person. My volleyball team has me at Rocky Grove this evening. A misconception the public may have about co-teaching is why would a district pay 2 teachers to do one job? But in reality, Mrs. White and I have both been teaching separately in our own classrooms for many years. Now that we're using the co-teaching model, we've been able to combine our strengths and skill sets to offer more supports to more students. Some of the benefits and positive results we've had these past 3 years are an increase in our Keystone proficiency. We've had fewer to no students scoring below basic. All students have passed the course, not because it's any easier, but because of the added support in all area. This is also increasing student confidence. Many students have reported the lack of confidence at the start of the year in their reading and writing skills. Through practice and scaffolding, students are making gains in these areas and head into the Keystone exam feeling more prepared. This makes me so happy because reading and writing are such key skills in the adult world and go way beyond our Keystone exams. We've also had reduced student behaviors with absolutely 0 behavior referrals in our 3 years together. We're able to provide support to not just students with IEPs, but with students in all the classes. We've also been given very positive parent feedback. I'd like to point out that it has been a great pleasure of co-teaching with Mrs. White. She is absolutely a master teacher of the 10th grade curriculum. Her pacing, knowledge of material, organization, use of class time, attention to detail, scaffolding, and repetition is second to none. Some of the ways the district could help support us with the co-teaching program is to continue to provide us with data days. Currently, the district gives us a few days a year for the whole English department to get together to look at data to help us drive instruction and decision making. We take this data very seriously and are trying to work towards it guiding our day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, and annual plans. We need continued consistency in our schedules, teaching the same courses together every year. Common planning time has also been very helpful, allowing us to be able to plan, grade, and collaborate. Another way the district could continue to support us is by considering offering training days or time over the summer to allow us to prep for the upcoming year. Co-teaching requires more planning than a typical classroom because it's something that can't just be done by one individual, it needs to be done together. I'd like to add that successful co-teaching is not something that can be forced. Both teachers need to be willing and open, with an open mind for change and feedback. Mrs. White taught on her own for nearly 30 years, but she was optimistic of the change and welcomed me into her room. We have worked very hard to find a good working relationship to be able to provide the students with the high education. I feel like our success together has been invigorating, and I hope it's something we continue. I'd also like to add that I currently team teach with Allie Atwood, both 7th and 8th grade English and some reading classes. While 7th and 8th grade classes have a very different dynamic than 10th grade with Mrs. White, things are going equally as well. We're very pleased with student academic and behavioral gains, and it's something that we hope to continue in the future. Thank you again for inviting me to come in, and Mrs. White will be adding more to our successes of co-teaching.
I don't know if anybody has any questions on that I can try to answer.
How many courses per day do you co-teach with Mrs. White?
I co-teach 1 with Mrs. Stover. It was 2, but this year I have Mrs. Plowman with me for seniors instead of just Mrs. Stover. There, with the schedules, losing an English teacher and so on, we have a tighter schedule, and I have 2 co-talk classes, team talk classes. I think Allie has 2 or 3. Well, I'm
And
not sure about the.
tell us more about the day-to-days and what that looks like.
That's actually one of the ones that I do cover, if that's okay, but we can go on to that one. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, all right. So thank you for inviting us here tonight. Jen is disappointed she couldn't be here. And I also want to thank Erin for this afternoon getting everything ready for both of us so that I can show you a couple of things and you can see our smiling faces on video. So I first want to address the idea that team teaching has a lot of misconceptions. It has a lot of differing ideas. You look at one source or another source and you have different ideas of what is expected and what you should or should not be doing. But I think the biggest thing about it is a choice. And that choice is very important. That's the main point of team teaching. You have to be willing to develop a relationship with the person that is in your classroom. So I've worked with Jen for 3 years. This is my first time working with Katie, but I can say that they're both qualified, they're both very helpful. But it's almost like inviting someone into your home that you don't always see, and now all of a sudden, they're living there. And you have to understand you have different views on procedures and policies and expectations that are in the classroom. I would like to think that I'm easy to get along with. That's not always true. Bless you. That's not always true. I know that about me. No one is, but I also know that my husband's here and he can tell you that I'm not always easy to get along with either. So I think that is something that needs to be a forethought. It's a choice ultimately. Then you have to learn to work together. So if it's done correctly, it does have a lot of benefits. Some of the biggest benefits that we found is finding what works best for you. And pacing was one of the biggest concerns, biggest areas that we had to work on. Because I would go faster, she would think about, wow, we're moving slower. And that was one of the things that we had to adjust. But I think it really turned out to be a positive event and a positive outlook because now we have more students getting it. We have more students who are understanding the criteria. As she said, we have not had any students failing. We also have the benefit of having small groups. The small groups are important because we have someone who might have been absent yesterday or might not quite grasp the skill that is needed to move on. So while I might be carrying on the lesson, Jen could be working with some of those small group students and making sure that they're caught up where they need to be. Again, with these small groups, we also have the ability for students to work on additional material. We have had students who have excelled at a task or perhaps already finished the reading that we're still working on. So we've been able to have students choose work and go beyond what the other students are doing in the classroom. I do enjoy co-teaching, and I think it has a lot of benefits. There are some things, though, that we do need. As I said, you need to be able to work together. It's a choice. You need to be able to accept the feedback from your peers. And sometimes that's not always an easy thing to do, but you do make sure that every student's needs are met that way. Communication is extremely important. When you are in the classroom, you don't always have time to plan of what's coming next. You don't have time to discuss assessment of an activity or of a lesson. So we need that common plan time. We do have a 5th period common prep time since we have started co-teaching, and it has been invaluable because we have questions where we have to figure something out, we have to pull something together, we have to work together. My one concern with that is Jen is often pulled in several directions because I want feedback from me, and Allie needs feedback from her class, and we're often emailing back and forth as well. But that common prep is extremely important. The other thing that is important is the data days. So we have a day after each diagnostic, and usually for a year, where we sit down and we look at the diagnostics of what went well from their common lit data, what might not have been so good. So those days, we have to plan for ourselves. And then we sit in, for some reason, it's usually the ISS room. So we sit in the ISS room as a group and we talk about what's been working well for us and what might not be working so well. We also get to take a look at our diagnostic data and see where there might be gaps in a lesson, or maybe a couple of students have gaps where other students don't. So it goes back to that common plan time that we had. We deep dive into data. I am not a data person, and I have really amazed myself with the amount of knowledge that I've learned from data in the last couple of years. We look to see where a student might need more help, and one of the things that we've seen, and I mentioned this on another slide, is author's purpose was something that the students were missing. I found it in my data, and then we looked in the data from the other English teachers, and it was missing as well. It's not because we didn't cover it, but I think the wording wasn't where it needed to be. We would say, well, why this word and not this word? But we never really connected it to author's purpose. So now that's something that I really focused on a lot from our mid-diagnostic last year to the end, and I think it paid off. I also know that I have the information up on the chalkboard and chalkboard marker, so it's not coming off. And you could see it in the picture that Jen and I had. So that's kind of what our data days are like. We just sit there and we work and we work and we work. Does that answer your question? Any other questions on data days? Because you have some too.
I was just curious of those, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Mrs. Thurber has been in our last data meeting.
Very impressive.
So we also have Common Lit, and Common Lit is something that I found, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, probably 5 years ago, and it's a free program that gives you passages to read. You can search for databases on certain topics. You answer multiple choice questions, and then write a paragraph response just like you do in the Keystone ULA exam. I've been using that in my classroom, and it is so much better than the diagnostics that we have been previously using for determining success on the Keystone. With this information, we're able to see some of those gaps and things. So last year, Dr. Jordan let me try the Common Lit assessment on my own with Jen. It wasn't a paid program, and we had limited information, but it was very valuable. So with that in mind, we were able to get the assessment series for 5 years. I think that's going to be wonderful because we have unlimited slide deck preparations with that, unlimited virtual conferences with that, and we get 2 professional development trainings each year. So we're looking forward to our next meeting where we can look, and Hannah from Common Lit is going to tell us about all the data that we have. I have the administrative data where I can look and see from other classes because it will pull the data from every teacher who's using Common Lit at the high school. And I think that's going to be invaluable. It's also mind-blowing whenever I look at some of the data that we have. So I think professional development is going to be crucial. And as I said, Jen is not just working with me, but she's also working with Allie. So as our data days, we know that we are looking for author's purpose. We were able to find that, and it's something that I continue to push often. Jen has her own strengths she brings to the classroom. I know she mentioned some of mine, but she is able to do wonders with small groups. She works on them, she works in small groups while we are looking at different material, and she's good at managing student behavior. One of the things I think she's amazing at is seating charts, because we've had a situation last year where we had a class of 25 students, and 5 of them were not allowed to be next to each other for various reasons. And I just looked like, okay, and she came up with a seating chart that was able to satisfy us, the students, and the administration whenever they said, this kid can't be next to this kid, and this kid can't be near this kid. So she is the one who's already doing that again this year as well. It's also interesting that students now do not consider me or her the teacher. They consider both of us teachers. And while we're walking around the room, they know that they can ask either one of us. So where Jen said about we were teaching in opposite ends, opposite rooms, now we actually have a room that we're teaching together. It gives us more consistency. and the students are really benefiting from it. So in conclusion, I'd like to stress that we have a lot of student successes. We have a lot of students who are growing in their writing skills. About 3.5 years ago, I created a mnemonic for the Keystone. It's called SOTEC. And that outline, I think, has also been invaluable. We have had students say, man, I've always hated writing. Whoever designed this is a genius. And I'm like, geez, thanks. And I'm like, yeah, that was me. And they think I'm lying. But I've even had people come back to me this year that say, that was the best thing that ever helped them understand how to write and what they're supposed to be writing. The Common Lit assessment is crucial. The Common Prep is probably one of the most important things, as well as the data days. Not only does it benefit student success, but it also benefits our Keystone scores. If you look at the scores that Jen and I have, we have 81% success rate this year. Thank you.
Justine, your course is the Keystone Lit course, right?
Yes.
So all the kids are tested on your course.
Right. Any other questions?
Are all your co-teaching, I don't know who knows that, but all the co-teaching, is it one special education teacher and one general education teacher?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a blended classroom.
Yes, it is. And like I said, I think our 81% rate is phenomenal.
Well,
you for all of you.
yes,
Thank you.
we have something from the board to give you. We're hoping to be able to recognize the teachers, so
Thank
it's something little
Thank you.
for a fantastic faculty.
Okay.
If you would share that.
I will, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Justin.
thanks.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to board concerns. I think Cliff has something to share.
Kelly, I have I'll share this email I received from the Scrubgrass Township tax collector. Just boil it down real quick. She's was appointed in 2012, and since then has been doing her job and has not received pay raise. She inquired about what to do about that, and I just responded to her that we would investigate it and discuss it as a board. I'm just looking for input from maybe 4 tenured board members or from the district staff on if we can do this, how we proceed to do this. Is that going to be across the board if we do it? And just generally, I think it's probably not a bad idea, but I don't know what the rules about it.
I think, John, maybe getting started, we could see what other school districts pay their tax collectors to go to base, and then we can go from there to have that discussion.
Yeah, that's, we kind of talked, and I'd already talked, and that's what I suggested, that we need to see where we're at compared to, I don't even know what percentage we pay. Does the state require a certain percentage? I'm not real sure. So I think that's something we need to check on.
Did we have an item on an agenda a couple months ago regarding that, or was it regarding like the supply, like increase?
I think it was the supply. We did agree to pay for the software that they use.
Okay, maybe that was it. Okay. I remember there was something related to the tax collection. I couldn't remember
Yeah,
what it was.
we buy the software now.
Okay, okay.
So, I mean, it's something we haven't discussed, so I think it's a good idea. We investigate it, and we can move from there, John. So if you want to let her know that, and maybe for the next meeting, we'll have something we can share and go from there as a discussion.
We need to do it informal to move forward with this. Or just-
Yeah, we'll get working, and I'll share it with the school board before the next meeting. Thanks,
All
John.
right, I'll let her know. Thank you.
Any other board concerns? Okay, not seeing or hearing any, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda that you would like to be pulled and voted on separately? Okay, not hearing any, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as it stands?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Are there any items you would like to discuss? These are all explained to us last week when we had our workshop meeting. Does anybody have any other questions on any of items A through K? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, Patty, would you do finance and purchase? And just note that the discussion word should be consideration to approve. Okay, thank you.
Consideration to approve paying bills for August and September on 17th through September 12th. So,
Okay, are you just gonna lump those all together?
well, I wasn't going to because I thought this is just a check register. Can I do B, C? No. A,
You can lump A
I can do A
through
and B.
G together,
Well, the C is a report.
but it's all in that packet.
Oh, okay. So I'd like to lump A through G together as accounts payable and consideration to approve payments.
Okay, any discussions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Cafeteria report.
Good evening, everybody. The cafeteria had a relatively smooth start to the school year. We had some updates with our PASES system. Once Aaron got that on board, kindergarten showed up and the seniors were gone, everything went really well after that. We've added some new menu items. They've tested really well. We're up to a full 4-week cycle, and it seems to be selling well. I did some digging around through the Pennsylvania State to see what was available as far as funds, and I was able to secure $5,000 for the purchase of fresh fruit and vegetables through the USDA Favors Program. And then once that is used up, I'm gonna go back and check and see if other people didn't want theirs and see if I can grab that as well. I'm really excited. On Monday, Mrs. Basham and I have been kind of working back and forth to help out her kids meet a requirement they must meet in their classroom and help us get an increased participation in high school breakfast. So we are going to start a second chance breakfast program at the high school between second and third period. We have a mobile cart. Mrs. Bashline students are going to get that cart ready, take it up to the hallway. My staff will take 5 or 10 minutes out of their day, go up, have on a computerized system and a pad, so we can legally claim those meals through the state, and we can track those. Then first students will bring that back down, they will clean that up, put items away, and they will come down and do that every morning. So they're getting the job benefit requirements that they have. We're finally getting that chance to throw that second chance breakfast out there, and I'm super excited to see what our participation numbers are going to be. I'm really hoping and I'm trying to make it clear to the students that this is not to replace the 100 plus of them that come in off the bus. We can't do, we can't do 150 or 200 in the hallway in 3 to 4 minutes. And I promised Mr. Jordan that we will do everything we can to make sure that it is not an excuse to be tardy for the next class. So I did promise him that there would be a learning curve on this, but I really think, I'm hoping between 30 and 50 students, they can pop those, grab those bags, take their class and be on their way. So I look forward to reporting on that in October.
Stacy, do you have any other districts in the area that you got a second chance?
I do. We were speaking at it through the regional food service directors.
Okay.
And we have a Facebook group or whatever. And the state finally gave us they've always said we should try and do it or what to do, but they didn't really give us permission to do a grab and go. Like they wanted them to have a choice every morning. What kind of juice do you want? What kind of milk do you want? Do you want this or do you want this? And now they finally said, you know what, a grab and go is fine. So we can bag it. It has all the requirements in it, and they're gonna have one choice. And whatever our hot breakfast is that day, that's I'm not sending cereal or milk. I am not sending them with syrup. It's going to be a breakfast sandwich or, a pancake sausage on a stick, anything that's self-contained, a small amount of garbage, like sliced apples in a bag so that they're not trying to tear fruit open. It'll be a very small, a juice and a milk, and that's gonna be it. So they'll grab it, put their number in their pin pad, and they're down the door. And I know Tina gets probably 35 to 45 through in the cafeteria in 10 minutes. As they're coming off the bus, within 15, 20 minutes, they're all down through, and a lot of them don't eat in the cafeteria at high school anyway. They grab it, and they're eating it on the way to their locker, throw their stuff in on their way to class. So I'm hoping to pick up those kids that maybe get dropped off late, had an appointment in the morning, maybe didn't have the best morning at home and were upset and just couldn't eat at that point, to pick them up a little bit between second and third period. And I think it will help parents budget out a little bit too, because when they're not eating that first thing in the morning, they're definitely coming through that lunchtime a second time. And as good as that is for me, as far as a parent that's paying for that, not the most economical thing when you can get that breakfast for free for all these kids. So I want as many of them taking that free breakfast as we can possibly get. So I'm excited to try this, and Megan's kids are super excited too. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to do this with our class.
Stacy. The next items I'd like to look, L, I and J, together. Consideration to approve the donations from the Scrubgrass Presbyterian and the Hamilton United Methodist Church for lunch accounts that are going. So
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Great that they support our students. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item K, consideration to approve from donation from Central Electric $1,500 for use of facilities for their annual meeting. As attached. So
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
L, consideration to approve the funding for charter schools calculations of expenditures for daily membership for 24-25 school years. So moved, sorry.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And finally, consideration to approve giving authority to Aaron Morrison, business manager, and David McDevitt, superintendent, to sign and execute an electric contract, a gas contract on behalf of the school board. The contracts will be sent to the solicitor for review before submitting. Once contracts are signed, the closing contract will be presented to the school board. So
Moved and seconded, I think we discussed before the fact that time change is so quick, we could lose something really good because they gotta bring it to us, so this gives them approval to jump on something when they find it. We've done that every year, so. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to personnel, and I'm gonna ask CJ to do that for us tonight.
Consideration to approve the resignation of Ms. Myford, Western Principal, and corresponding confidential separation agreement dated September 16, 24, as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve hiring Jessica Lukes with 0 years experience upon receipt of all appropriate documentation. Contingent upon enough student preparation for the cross-country team beginning July 1, 2025, as cross-country coach for the 25-26 season at a salary of $885. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? We're trying to get her on board early, she's donating some time, so maybe we can get a team for next year and be ready to go. So, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve hiring Zachary Lewis with 0 years experience upon receipt of all documentation as elementary girls basketball coach at a salary of $429. Salary for elementary boys and girls coaching position is split between two. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve hiring Brandy Giles with 0 years experience upon receipt of all documentation to assist a junior high cheerleading coach with a salary of $659. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve hiring Megan Bashline as unified indoor bocce coach to grant funded by the Special Olympics of Pennsylvania and ACV High School at a $1,000 stipend. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to table number F as we do not have anyone. So moved.
Second.
Okay, yeah, nobody's applied for this yet, so we're gonna table this motion until we get a candidate. So,
Is this posted externally or is it just internally?
It came to us late, it's just, Dr. Gordon was gonna check around at the high school, it's an unpaid position, it's just part of that, league requirements to have an advisor to work with that coach.
Sure, okay.
so in other words, it's an assistant kind of for the coach, so we just have two people there. So all those in favor of tabling? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve Ms. Farrington as a part-time 3-hour per day light duty custodian upon all documentation at a rate of $17.25 per hour, being hired with 2 years experience with a 60-day work probationary period already worked. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve hiring Regina Barris at a full-time 7.5 hour per day child-specific aid upon appropriate documentation, contingent upon a 60 work day probationary period at a rate of $12.66 an hour. Completion of the 60-day work period, the rate will be set to $13.66 an hour. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve hiring Crystal Moeller as a full-time 7.5 hour day child-specific aid upon receipt of all appropriate documentation, contingent upon 60 work day probationary period at a rate of $12.66 an hour. After 60 days, probation period rate will go to $13.66 an hour. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Motion carries. Do you have a sheet, Tammy, for Diane? Oh, okay, you're on Bob, I'll tell you what.
Consideration to approve hiring Brianna Simmons at Master Step 1 upon receipt of all appropriate documentation for the newly formed position of special education teacher at the Westview in Hamilton, PA, at a first-year salary of $59,790, with future salary increases to be negotiated with Allegheny Clarence Valley Education Association. This position is approved as 183 days, being Monday through Thursday for a school year dating from August 1 of each year to the following June 30. The first year salary prorated the number of available days for the first work day through June 30, 2025. This position is hired contingent upon the continued need and operation of Westview. The position shall further be contingent on the individual executing a consent and acknowledgement for future decrease in salary in the event that the individual's employment changes to a position with lesser pay. All other terms of the agreement between AC Valley and the AC Valley Education Association effective July 1, 2023 shall apply to this position. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve hiring Megan Gaffel for the newly formed position of the principal of Westview in Hamilton, PA, first year salary of $99,250. This position is approved as 240 days for a school year dating from July 1st of each year to the following June 30th, with the first year salary prorated in the number of available school days, the first work day through June 30th, 2025. This person is hired contingent upon the continued need and operation of Westview. This position shall be subject to all other terms and benefits provided under Act 93 agreement July 1, 2023, and expiring on June 30th, 2027. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion?
I was part of her interviews. I think she did really, really well. I'm really excited for her to come on. I think she has a lot of great ideas. She has a lot of experience. I think will really complement the position well and really help the district out further on down the road.
I would second that one. I think she's a great candidate for it, so. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the request from employee number 267 to take maternity leave for a period of 12 weeks beginning tentatively November 21st, 2024. After utilizing all sick, personal, and emergency days to use FMLA through February 13, 2025, with a return date of February 14, 2025. As attached, so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the employment agreement between Allegheny Clarion Valley School District and Aaron Morrison, Business Manager, effective September 1, 2024 through June 30th, 2029, as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Welcome aboard, Aaron. Thank you.
Consideration to accept the letter of resignation of Business Manager from Andrew Stewart. Andrew's last day with the district will be Friday, September 20th, 2024, as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? She's been helping Erin get her feet wet and get jumping right in, so. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to instructional services. Cliff, or, I just had Cliff, I'm sorry. John, would you do that?
Item A, elementary report.
Well, I'd like to start tonight by directing you to a packet that I put at your tables. It has sort of a schedule on the front of it. This highlights some programs that our counselor, Mrs. Rice, has brought into the district and is working in conjunction with Mr. Harold's social studies classes to present for our students. We have provided these programs for all of the years that I've been here, in my 9 years here. They are brought to us through the Clarion County SAFE, which stands for Stop Abuse for Everyone. At the top, you'll see that the first one is called Next Step Emotional Health. That one started on September 12th with their first session. There's a total of 5 sessions in their social studies classes. Their presenter is Joyce Mitchell, as I said, from Clarion County SAFE. The goal of that program is to assist students in communicating effectively, set and keep healthy boundaries, and better control emotions. And Ms. Mitchell provided a PowerPoint of what her program entails, and that is copied at your seats. Mine's in color, but I did yours in black and white. So you have that entire PowerPoint that you'll be using through those 5 sessions, and you'll see throughout the PowerPoint, it kind of says small day 1, and then there's day 2. So you can see it's about a 20 to 30 minute program during that social studies time in 6th grade. The next one is also from SAFE, Clarion County SAFE, but is provided from presenter Abigail Marple, and we've had this one every year too. It's called Too Good for Violence. It's an excellent program. You can see there's 2 sections there. That's because in our trades, like one group has social studies in the morning and one group has social studies in the afternoon. So they have to do a program for the morning class and a program for the afternoon class. So class 1 is our morning class, class 2 is our afternoon class. The goal of this program, and it's a little bit longer, you can see that it's 10 sessions. The goal of that program is to help students set goals, make good decisions, identify and manage their own emotions, communicate effectively, use strategies to navigate peer pressure, influence others positively, respect themselves and others, resolve conflicts effectively, manage their own anger, identify and manage bullying situations, and recognize the consequences of real-life violence versus media violence, like that they might see in video games or TVs and movies. And then behind the PowerPoint packet is Ms. Markle's lessons. They're broken down into 10 lessons with the objectives for each lesson and the standards that they meet. They are not social studies standards, they're actually under the National Health Education Standards. But social studies was a good place for us to fit those in for our 6th grade students. We do programs for other age groups throughout the years as well. It just happens to be 6th grade's turn right now. We do make families aware that these programs are going on by sending them a letter from Mrs. Rice and myself about which programs are happening, and encourage people to give us a call if they have any questions about the program. And Courtney and I talked, and we just thought it would be good to get into your hands what these programs look like in case anybody questions you about them. So those are the programs. Any questions about those before I go on? Okay, I just have 2 other things. This Friday, September 20th, we will be welcoming the youth football program for a pep rally at 2 o'clock. Miss Jacqueline Maley has been emailing back and forth with me to get that organized. There is a slew of adult volunteers that will be coming to help with that, and we will recognize all of our football players and cheerleaders. And this is at least the second year, if not third year, that we've done this. Is it second? Okay. And the kids really, really enjoy. They enjoy the high school pep rallies as well, but I think they particularly enjoy this youth pep rally because they're cheering on their own classmates and friends. And I will say, elementary kids are so enthusiastic, and high school pep rallies can sometimes get a little, maybe not so participatory, but man, do these kids participate. Like, they scream and yell and have a great time. So it's good to see them supporting their friends and for their friends to get that recognition for the hard work they do at youth football each year. And then lastly, we are preparing for our annual open house, which will be October 3rd here at the elementary. That is from 4:30 to 6:30. So we welcome our families and anybody from the community that would like to come in and check out what's going on here at AC Valley Elementary. And that's all I have for today.
Thank you. Item B, secondary report.
I'll go ahead and take that, John. Dr. Jordan and Mr. Sherman wanted me to remind the board that we have to move the junior high boys basketball assistant coach into the head position in October, and then we'll have to advertise to fill that assistant. If you recall, we couldn't find the head coach last year, so we wanted Mr. Sherman into that position for 1 year. One year season for that, and that's the only update that he had. Last time we did have a difficult time finding a coach. We had planned on putting a motion on the October agenda, hiring in November, and being ready for the December start of the season. So I didn't know if we wanted to think about advertising early and try to get somebody in here, or if we just want to follow their comment.
I don't think it would hurt to advertise now,
Get it out.
since we've had so much trouble getting somebody.
Okay. So maybe under new business, we can just advertise for an assistant junior high basketball coach. That's all we had.
You want to take the list?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Currently up at the Western Secure Treatment Unit, we have 37 students who are enrolled. We have 4 graduates, 1 that we graduated and 3 that came. So we have a total of 41 students up there. We've been billing since December 3rd of last year, and right up until September 5th of this school year, we've had 10 billing cycles. We brought in $514,419 for the base, and just keep in mind that's how we'll be funding the program. Once the grant goes away, we'll be billing the home school districts. That cyber tuition rate, which is just over $19,000 for a general ed student, and just over $44,000 for a special ed student. We were told recently that we'll be maxing out at 48 students. Up at the program, we originally were told we'd have 60 students. So those numbers may be fluctuating a little bit. Amongst all those students, we've been paid in full by the majority of the school districts. We do have right now 5 students who are unclaimed. And what that means is sometimes the students move around, or if we're not sure where they were at their last school district. And we have 1 student who's a ward of the state. So we'll be working with the state to cover that cost. And that concludes the Plus 2 report.
Thank you. Federal programs report.
Yep, that's me. Hello, everybody. The ESSERS grants are all finished for ESSERS 1 and ESSER 2. We still have a little bit of money left in the ARP ESSERS. ARP ESSER that needs to be spent out by September 30th. Mrs. Sherman and I have been working on ways to address learning loss in reading, because that is one of the stipulations. And there's approximately just a little over $3,000 there that we're working on. The federal programming, Title I, Title II, Title IV, and a new sub-grant, the Title I-D. The consolidated application has already been submitted, and just as a reminder, the Title I pays our reading specialists salaries and benefits. Title II gets transferred into Title I to help supplement that, and our Title IV supports our High School AmeriCorps program. And that is about $14,000 to get those students in here at the elementary level, to get them that job experience, and to also support our elementary teachers and students. The final expenditure reports for the 2023-2024 titles are in progress. I have been working with Ms. Morrison there to get those completed, and we have a little bit of a system going. We are spending some time on that today, so I think it's going to be a nice transition with Erin in here. And prior to that, Andrea has also been super helpful, so working on that. I referenced before the Title 1D, that is the new sub-grant that has been added to this consolidated application. This pertains to the funding at WSTU. Right now, that is about $88,000 for this school year, where 15% of that has to be used and go toward transition services. Those services would be our GED programming, vocations, and certifications that we can provide for those students. That would include that, but not be limited to that. So that's what we're doing with that. We look for that to increase in subsequent years as our enrollment kind of goes up. It's based on that as well. So, and the Ready to Learn grant is also under some of our federal programming that has not been reopened yet. It was opened briefly for this cycle. PDE closed it down for some modifications to it. But as a reminder that grant pays for our kindergarten teacher salaries and benefits. The PCCD grants, we currently have a health and safety grant. We have a little bit of money left from our security camera grant. That was grant number 41673. And we have a little bit of time to spend that out. It's about $4,000, and that has to be spent out by next December. So December of 2025. So food for thought there. Some things to think about. And a new grant has also opened back to the safety and mental health. We're doing some work on that, digging deep into that, and hopefully have that submitted by the end of September. And that allocation is $111,000. Around $111,000, just over that. And lastly, just want to share some of my professional development to become really good at this job. And one of the things that I am going to is the N&D Symposium this October. And that will help me support what's going on at Westview, and then a grant writing workshop as well in September. So, any questions?
Thank you.
Sure.
District report?
Thanks, John. Well, we'll start off with a football field committee update, and I'm not sure if Brady or Cliff would like to get us started on that, just to share with the community and the school board what we've been doing.
Sure. So we've met a couple different times as a group, and the group is composed of myself, Cliff, David, and two parent volunteers from the youth football field program, or youth football program. We've looked, and James, sorry, James. And so we've looked at the field a couple different times, and the practice field up at the track area is what we're gonna try to push forward to get approval for, to start using that field for practices, for gym class, for the community use, and then hopefully be able to host the last youth football home game at that field is our goal for that. We have a field professional coming in to talk with us at the end of September. He designs fields for professional minor league teams across the country. So he'll be able to give a lot of input on what we need to do, what our next step should be. We do have a fund, set up for the district. It's a nonprofit, the 501c3. So if anybody's interested in donating to that to help with the field, that is set up. The link to that should be on the district's website and the Facebook page. If anybody feels inclined to help. Anything else?
No, you do a good job.
Have we heard back from the insurance company? I know you sent that.
Yeah,
Like a
I
week
sent
or
a
so
letter.
ago?
Yeah, we've not heard anything official, but the insurance agent will be at the meeting with us on the 26th. And we're hoping that the field will be deemed usable after that meeting. James has done a lot of work on the field up there. It looks fantastic.
So we may be considering a varsity game here in October?
Well, the last youth program at the
Okay.
very least, but no varsity at this time,
Okay,
just because the schedule's set.
okay.
John, I got a couple other items too that I'd like to cover. Just keep in mind that the Shapiro administration had added a number of items into the budget. One of them was feminine hygiene products grant. That's something that we will be utilizing. There's $3 million in the grant. There's about $1.75 per student, and the nurses are working on that right now. They put that into the budget to increase attendance as well as promote student well-being. In addition to that, Senate Bill 700 was part of that budget as well, and that's part of Act 55 of 2024, and it's a 1316-C school code. And what that does is it requires all public school districts to have a full-time school police officer during the day. So we do have Dave here working with us. Mrs. Thurber talked about the school safety and security grant program. We are looking at using some of that money to potentially hire a second police officer that can help support Dave. You know, we thought about being creative with, you know, the time of the day they work, maybe a noon to 8 to help cover some of the evening activities, support Dave if he's off on training or if he's out ill. And we're also working with that grant to add additional social worker here. In addition to that, we've worked on the FIA student teacher grant, and just keep in mind that was put in to help pay student teachers a stipend for their time. We're trying to increase teachers in Pennsylvania, but also support the local district as well. We completed a survey, the agreement, and the money will come through the district and go out into the student teachers. And we're hoping that that'll increase, you know, more teachers in the area. In addition to that, I got a couple other items that I'd like to share that are related back to the football field as well. On Saturday, we had the class of 1974 come through for a 50-year reunion, and we told them about the 501c3, and we did accept $1,100 worth of donations, and that came from Joyce Strella and Robert Woods. And it was a really good day, and they understand some of the concerns that we have with our facility. In addition to that, Mr. Thurber talked about the grant writing workshop. I'm going to attend that as well. There's a local share account grant that we may be eligible for. We're going to write that grant for renovations. If we can do a renovation or a rehabilitation project, the money could be used for planning, consultation, and design. The project could be anywhere from $25,000 to $1 million, and we'll be working together to get that grant submitted. In addition to that, I worked with Attorney Shekel about creating a waiver for volunteers to come in and help with some of our renovation projects if or when we dive into that. And then finally, Mr. Sherman talked about October 3rd. We do have a half of a Act 80 day, which is the professional development day. Then we have open house in the evening for both the elementary as well as the high school. 4:30 to 6:30 at the elementary, 5:30 to 7:30 at the high school. And the exciting part that we're going to present to the community is a presentation on current adolescent drug trends and culture. And I spent some time today with Matt Nall. He's from out east, and he's going to come in and work with our teachers during the day, and then we'll do some presentation for the community in the evening as well. And he comes highly recommended, and he's going to be talking about, you know, various different trends of vaping and the concerns associated with that, experimental use. And it's going to be more educational for everybody, not necessarily targeting kids that may have problems, but to educate the adults on how we can work with our young people to prevent them from exploring that type of behavior. He's also going to touch on the energy drinks that have alcohol in it and how the two of them are kind of connected into the vaping concerns that we have right now. So we're really excited to have Matt come in, and I'll be sharing that message out to the community as well. And we're working on that agenda right now. John, that concludes my report.
Thanks, Steve. Student board representative report. I know Dr. Gordon was trying to recruit some new candidates for that.
Yeah, the young lady that will be coming down, she has a volleyball game tonight, and she'll be meeting everybody next month.
What are they?
He emailed us the name, but thank you.
What was it? Okay, and student school police report, please.
You guys have that in front of you, if there's any questions.
Thanks, David. That concludes the instruction service.
All right, we will move on to policy. Brady, do you want to do that for us?
Sure. All right, so letter A, consideration to approve the first policy reading of 813, other insurance is attached, so moved.
Moved and seconded, any discussion on that? That one, I think, was 2003.
The last time we updated.
Yeah, so PSBA suggested we, since we were talking about possible maybe down the road insurance changes, that we needed to update our policy, so. Good question, Greg. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
All right, letters B through M, does anybody want anything pulled out, or is everybody okay if I lump them together? Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to approve items B through M as listed on the agenda.
Okay, any discussion on any of those? Just note that M is a first reading.
Oh, I'm sorry, so we'll go through B through L.
Okay, we'll just do A through L with this motion. Okay, so it's seconds on all those. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter M, consideration to approve the first reading of policy 824, maintaining professional adult-student boundaries is attached, so moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that policy? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, we'll do facilities. Eric, do you want to do that one? Will you just do that one?
So today, consideration to approve the 2024 federal level water degree results from professional services review. Inside, text on correspondence from Glenn Copeland, project manager, Greg Chambliss, RHPH, principal consultant, dated August 26, 2024, as attached. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Is there anything you need to add to that, Brady?
I think James will take.
James wants to get
Yeah, I was
started?
able to go around and do the testing with Mike. That was the first time I was kind of part of it. So he came in, showed me what to do, how to flush the lines properly, label samples, different random spots throughout the building. And then we got those sent back, everything came back to it. We did just do a random sample that wasn't filtered, and that came back to it. So it is kind of reassuring that the filters are doing their job. Also, water is decent coming in the building. Outside of that, at the high school, we did some more repairs to AC unit. Rennie Brothers came in, assisted with that job. The elementary, since we got school started and it's getting dark earlier, we found out some exterior lighting was taken out by a power surge during the end of summer. It's been a couple days diagnosing all that, got the lights fixed. We're waiting on a couple parking lot lights to come in, get those changed. And then we also did some work on the pneumatic HVAC controls at the elementary. District-wide, we had our boiler inspections in both buildings. That's something that's done every 2 years. So this year was up an inspection, everything passed. We're getting that certification in the mail here in the next couple of weeks. Water samples, as I talked about there before, that'll come back good. We met with Jeff Brooks, the advanced curve, and Bob Best, insurance agent. Just kind of went over a little bit on the main field topics, got some pricing on sod and some other materials that we needed for that job, down the road, and some contacts for when we do that job. Continuing in-depth work on the practice field. We're going to do some overseeding and top dressing to try to get that up to spec for the meeting with Jeff Fowler on the 26th of September. So just still working on preparation and that to get everything checked off as much as we can on our end so he comes in and gets his out. That's all I have.
Okay, so we're going to move on to transportation. Diane, can I have you and Jeff kind of split that so you guys don't have to, and I think you can lump some of that together, right? So you want to do down through A through M, and Jeff will have you do N through B.
I can lump together. A, consideration to approve the question clinics
add Karen McGinnis, date to be determined upon receipt and review of all appropriate documentation and an interview with the administration and the driver. So moved.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I'm going to lump B and C. Consideration to approve the request from Clinics to remove the 2007 Dodge Grand Caravan from its fleet and to add a 2022 Ford Escort to his fleet. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
I think I can lump together E through H.
Do D separate, and then you could,
Okay. Consideration to approve to remove requires as a bus contractor with the district approved as of July 15, 2024 budget meeting. So moved.
Second.
moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Okay, I think I can lump E through H. Consideration to approve the extracurricular activity transportation contract between the Allegheny Clearing Valley School District and Stan Bailey, Walter Bussing, Jennifer Callender, Walter J. Polk, dated August 1st, 2024, is attached.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the Career Center Transportation Contract between the Allegheny Clearing Valley School District and Bailey Busing Company dated August 21st, 2024 is attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I through M.
J through M, yep.
Consider I would be done. J is consideration to approve the 2024-2025 bus contracts with Walter Bussing, Bailey Bussing, Calvin Bussing, Martha Jane Cook, dated August 21st, 2024, as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, Jeff, we'll slide over to your side.
I think we can do N through Q. R. N
Yep.
through R. Consideration to approve the 2024-2025 band contract, Michelle Eiler, Irwin Transportation, Randy McClendon, Pam Myers, and Kelly Stavanis, each dated July 1st, 2024, as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
R through V, I think we can do those all together.
S.
What's that?
S.
We already did R, I'm sorry. S through V. Consideration to approve the extracurricular activity transportation contract between the Allegheny Clearing Valley School District and Clint Ace, Michelle Eiler, Irwin Transportation, and Pam Myers, dated August 1st, 2024, as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We're very grateful for those bus contractors and van contractors because we need them. And I know they're struggling to find people to drive, so we appreciate all their hard work. Okay, so we'll move on to miscellaneous. You have a career center report for us?
Sure. So there's a couple of us that met beforehand for a strategic planning committee meeting. We just talked about moving forward, what the goals of the Career Center are, and what areas are weak and what are going to be the up and coming areas that the world is going to need workers for. That's something we did beforehand, which I thought was interesting to see what the kids are interested in and what we as members of the committee thought they would be. And it was very opposite, but it was still good information. They had a good start to the school year. We were hiring, trying to get some positions filled for custodial staff, especially in the evening. And I think we have a full-time person in there now. It's going to work out. For the first couple of weeks, it was Tracy, the director there, and the head maintenance guy. We're doing all the cleaning after hours. So definitely thank you to those individuals for their extra time there. I think those were the big items. David, is there anything else?
Yeah, no, that was it.
Okay, IU report. Carrie, is there anything you'd like to add for that?
No, it was a pretty uneventful meeting, mainly just policy changes and some personnel appointments. Actually, I think that was the first meeting since I've been the IU representative that Mike reported that we were fully staffed at that meeting. So that was great that we had so many personnel hirings that meeting. But other than that, uneventful. Next meeting is Wednesday, the 25th.
Okay, thanks, Carrie. Do we have any correspondence? I didn't see anything.
No.
We have not had tech committee meeting update yet, or tech committee meeting yet this year. The athletic committee,
We haven't.
okay. We already had the football committee update. Finance and facilities committee, has there been an update or anything on that?
Patty, do you want to take that one?
Met tonight.
The whole thing, it did include the football field update and some strategic planning ideas for, not only just outside facilities, but inside, including the auditorium, and some ideas for us to consider as we try to figure out how to put funding together for that. And that includes, promoting, our input into the ACV Foundation, which apparently doesn't have very much input into it financially at the moment. So here's a shout out club for those that might be considering a donation to support the school and support these facilities, to consider putting that with the AC Valley Foundation that is held by bridge builders in Oil City. And we're going to be taking a look at planning and goals in a long-term 5-year plan as a district as well.
Sounds great, thank you. Any old business? We have one item for new business. If someone would like to make a motion for advertising for the assistant junior high basketball coach,
Jeff, what are girls?
boys.
I'll make a motion to advertise for an assistant junior high boys basketball coach.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. I'm gonna turn to Cliff because he's always my.
Motion to adjourn?
All right, folks, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you. Have a great night, everybody.